Hey, Jeremy, thanks so much for coming in today to the office. I wanted to take this time. A few weeks ago, we talked about your work in your performance review. And one thing that came out that I said that we were going to check back on was it seems like you really do incredibly well at things that really juice you up, that you get really excited about, that you get to think creatively on. And that's fantastic. And you really excel at all that.
Thank you.
Yeah. And also, there are just some activities and administrative tasks that we all have to do in the office just to kind of keep the wheels turning and to keep the organization going. And in that area, as we talked about, it seems to be something that doesn't excite you so much. And so you seem to put them off at times.
Yeah, I could do a little better.
Yeah, so, we talked about checking in, about 2 to 3 weeks later, and so I am. And so I'd love to hear from you and tell me, what's it been like for you since we had that conversation? What areas do you feel like you've had some progress?
Well, I think you're right. When I'm excited about the work, I really go deep into it, and I work hard at it. I do, I go the extra step, and sometimes that sort of eats away at my time for some of the other stuff. And I get on a roll, and I don't want to break that rhythm, and stuff gets sort of pushed aside. So I know I need to bring some more focus to that.
Yeah, so I do notice that, and I do take note that your work is exceptional. And I have seen you here late and continuing to do good work. Could you tell me a little bit more about that, since we talked about you kind of working on maybe doing some of the stuff that is important to get done, but doesn't capture your attention as much? What's it been like to try to shift your focus?
I try and carve out some time each day to take care of those tasks. But like I was saying, once I get momentum going on the project work, when I stop, it's really hard to get back into it. And so I'm not as efficient that way. So, it's like an arbitrary scheduling block. But I almost never, I can't really stop just because that's on, the agenda. Mm-hmm. Because I've got a full head of steam on my project. And sometimes other people are waiting for things, and it's time sensitive, and so I feel like it can't stop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's really important to you to actually get your deliverables done to the people that are waiting for you on it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And can you tell me the difference between the projects that really motivate you, like you go full steam, like you said, you really dive in there, compared to these other tasks? Because people are waiting on those tasks too.
Yeah, well, I feel like they're a little more related to the mission. And they involve a lot of problem solving, which, I really like to sink my teeth into problem solving. The other administrative stuff and task-oriented stuff, I know it needs to get done. It just doesn't engage that part of my brain.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, you get so energized, and you are really good at problem solving. I mean, we've seen that. There was, a couple weeks ago when you were the person that solved what we needed to have solved, and you found the kind of key to getting the project completed. So it's very appreciated.
Thank you.
I'm curious, what it has been like for you to have, us, kind of me come to you and say, I really need you to focus on these more mundane administrative things, because in the eyes of our office, they are just as important as the stuff that, clearly you find and you're serving our customer. But yeah, let me in a little bit on what that's like for you to, as far as the importance of the other, stuff that you said, like, kind of gets pushed to the side because it doesn't seem as pressing.
Well, I hear you. I appreciate, that it's important. Sometimes I feel like at the end of the day, if an expense report doesn't get submitted, but our clients get, I guess it just comes down to prioritizing.
Yeah.
And it feels in the moment like I'm making a judgment call on priorities.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, especially when so many other teams and our clientele are waiting for this bulk of work. It just feels like a higher priority.
Yeah, so I totally get that. Like, it's a priority to you to definitely serve the customer and to get things to the other teams, and that seems to be where your focus is, and you're really, really good at that. I'm also wondering if you could tell me what it's like when you have tried to adjust your schedule. Like you said when we first started talking that you've taken some kind of blocks or chunks of time to say, like, okay, I'm going to focus on the administrative stuff. What's that like for you to do that?
Well, initially it's fine. I get, when we're not in the middle of a big deadline crunch, I'll, start in on those tasks. But it seems like every single time, ding, 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 I get distracted with urgent messages, either from the front desk or from outside vendors, and it takes my attention away.
Yeah. Do you ever, I'm curious your strategies that you use sometimes to, if you're really focusing on something, right? And you say, like, you hear this ding, 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 and that takes you away from the administrative stuff. Do you ever have it where you're focusing on a client and you still get the ding, ding, dings and you don't actually go and answer them?
Yeah. Mostly because, that feels a little more urgent.
Yeah.
To be working on that stuff. Mm-hmm. I think I could, set my availability to unavailable for a small chunk of time, so I don't get distracted that way.
Yeah.
But my mind is there,
Yeah. Yeah. It's so, it's interesting because I hear some really important values that you're talking about. It's important to you to really do your job well, to go the extra mile, to be very attentive to getting kind of the big projects done, because you feel, I can hear it, you feel the pressure of everybody else, and it's not pressure like in a negative way, but it's more like they're waiting and they want to launch this.
Yeah, a sense of urgency.
Yeah, so that sense of urgency. So those are really great values. I'm curious, what else do you value about the way you work or value in your job? What's important to you?
The detail work. Mm-hmm. So, a lot of the projects involve precision and double and triple checking everything for consistency and errors. So I kind of have to get into that tunnel vision, because if I get distracted, stuff slips through the cracks. Mm-hmm. So the specificity, the precision, the accuracy, those are really important.
Yeah, I can definitely see that in the work that you do. And that is why we value you so much. Yeah. I'm curious if you could, kind of share with me, where do you see your career going?
Like in 3 years or 5 years?
The timeline doesn't really matter. Like, what do you aspire to be? What do you want to, what do you want to do as far as your career when you sit back and think about the future for you?
Well, I love what I do. I think it would be great to have a team, a dedicated team that does this work, and maybe has a certain kind of autonomy that allows for some new innovation, because maybe we have dedicated time toward finding new ways to tackle these issues, and not just accomplishing the goals, but maybe innovating.
Yeah, I got it. Sounds like you're, really, I love it. Dreaming big, thinking big, wanting to be right there on the cutting edge and expanding what we could offer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's I like that vision. I'm wondering if there are some steps that you see to getting there. And if so, what you imagine them to be.
Well, part of that is about the company's allocation of time and resources. I feel like I have a good working relationship with my coworkers. If I eventually were to step into more of a team leader role, I'm not sure how I get those skills without just doing it. Maybe it's about leading projects that have a beginning, middle, and end, so they're finite, and then gradually the scope of each project could get larger until there's a dedicated team.
I think that those steps that you're talking about are, I hear them. In my mind, what I'm hearing, and I'm wondering if you hear this as well, is, as you rise up to be a team leader, there's also more administrative responsibilities. And so it's like, on one hand, you have this really great vision of wanting to grow a team and be innovative. And then on the other hand, to get there, it takes a lot of these administrative, protocols that you have to do, project management, expense reports, getting, everybody to attend meetings, to write up minutes after meetings, to be doing all these little tasks. So I'm curious what it's like. It's like, you want that bigger vision, and I want to support you in getting that. I really do, because I value, the skill that you have and the talent that you bring to the team. And on the other hand, it sounds as if it's hard for you to make, I heard you say a few words like priority. One feels more like a priority. And so it seems like a little curious to me, because if your end goal is to really grow this team and kind of create a new department, which would be awesome, it doesn't seem like a priority to learn those micro skills and to do these other things that really actually hold back our business.
Yeah. So I guess it's about prioritizing them. Yeah.
I think it's prioritizing, and I also hear, though, and I appreciate this, you get really focused. Okay? And that is a gift, because a lot of times people get distracted. But what you said is, like, when you are really engrossed in a project, you are super focused. When you're doing some things like the administrative stuff, which doesn't really have your mind as much, you get pulled away.
Yeah.
Okay? And like I said, it's a gift to be so focused and to be able to be driven to complete something to the levels that you do. I am curious if you have any ideas of, and maybe pulling from other things in your life, because there's lots of mundane details in life all the time. So I'm curious if, from pulling from other things in your life, What do you think? What are strategies that you think could help you accomplish these mundane details? Like, what works for you, like, say, outside of work? Because this can't be the only place that this happens.
Well, at home, Sunday is laundry day, at least, for a couple hours, if not a little bit more. So, that's a day. I guess it's a possibility to set, some of my tasks on a specific day of the week. Mm-hmm. Try and get those. We know reports are due on Friday, budget reconciliations on Thursday. So that kind of stuff. Just maybe structuring my calendar.
I love how you're comparing laundry to budget and expenses, because honestly, in some ways, like, you do your laundry, like, you're cleaning things, you're organizing them so that you can be presentable, right? So that, you're getting things ready. And so doing these other mundane tasks are kind of similar. So I love that you're making that comparison, and you're saying, like, oh, well, I wonder if there's one day I can do it. Because it seemed like the strategy that you had you've been attempting to do is to kind of set a couple hours in a day. But when you get really focused, you forget about those boundaries or those couple hours.
Yeah, guilty.
Do you think that's something that you could do?
Yeah.
Like, so on a scale, like, if we were to think about, like, I'm hearing from you, like, you want to make this change. You like working here. You even have dreams of things growing.
Yeah.
And so I'm wondering if, like, let's imagine, like, a scale of 0 to 10. Okay, 10 being, like, you can make this happen. You can make this change. And 0, like, there's no way you can make this change. Where do you think you are on that scale of 0 to 10?
It's a little, to be perfectly honest, like, I'm capable. I think it's really about the will and the focus. So 10 on, sure, I can do the tasks. But making it work, practically speaking.
Yeah, where are you on that scale?
Up till now, maybe a 5.
Okay.
Yeah. Blocking off schedule.
Okay.
It could be a start, and if other people see that I'm, my schedule is booked, then if the people that really depend on me, if they know I'm not available, then maybe I'll have fewer distractions.
I like this, because what you're saying is like, okay, I can block my schedule off, but I hear something else, which is, and I'm going to tell other people that this is what I need to do to be part of our team. Because I know other people are feeling it when you don't do these things. And I hear that you're willing to tell them, which is great, because then they'll feel a sense of relief and want to support you in that and not bother you.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, so I like this. So you're going to block off some time. You're going to communicate to other people, like, this is time when there's no reason to disturb me. Like, it would have to be a real emergency. Right?
Yeah.
Like, your kid needs something, right? That's when the receptionist would come, and, whoever's answering the phone that day, because, we all answer the phone at times. Or, like, there's some real emergency, but this is the time that Jeremy has blocked off, and we're not going to disturb him. We're not going to make special meetings in that time, right? So those are 2 great strategies. I'm also, I know that doing this is an adjustment for you.
Yeah.
I know that it is. And I'm also want to thank you for being so committed to your job and to the team and to the organization so that you would take these steps. So what do you think about us, like, trying this for the next 2 weeks? and then us meeting again and seeing, like, how did it go?
Yeah, that sounds like a good starting place.
Okay, great. Anything else you want to chat about today?
I feel like that was the real focus, so I feel okay about it.